What's up, YouTube? It's your boy AP, and today we're breaking down a crazy budget-friendly map printing strat. I'm talking 40 to 60,000 gold per map, and on average, more than one 16.5 as well as T17 drop per run. This is a fast, chill strategy, and you do not need crazy boss damage for this, which makes it accessible for every endgame build out there. There's a lot of things going on in this strategy, and when everything lines up, I've printed as many as 65 T16s alongside 4 T16.5s and 4 T17s, all from a single map run. The returns can get pretty ridiculous. On average, you should expect to get roughly 15 to 25 map drops per run, and the magic number to aim for here is actually only 16, because statistically, every 16 T16 maps will convert one of them into a T17 map, and we are more than meeting this threshold. As far as scarabs, the ones I've been using are Cartographer's Scarab of Escalation, Kalguuran Scarab of Guarded Riches, Kalguuran Scarab, and 2 times Monstrous Lineage Scarab. And we're using the Cartographer's Scarab of Escalation as the main driver for these map drops. The Guarded Riches Scarab converts all the Kalguuran monsters into magic monsters for much better returns. And we are boosting that magic pack size with the Monstrous Lineage Scarab. And the additional Kalguuran Scarab is because we're aiming to get as many of these ores as possible, and that just adds in an extra one. So these are the core 5, and if you did want to push for 8 mod corrupted maps, you would replace a Monstrous Lineage Scarab for the Cartographer's Scarab of Corruption. And I will go over how you do a slight Atlas tree change as well as map favorite change later on when we cover the Atlas tree. Now for the most important part of this video. Success in these strats isn't just about copying someone's scarab and Atlas tree. There is more to it. Timing, modifiers, pacing, player execution. That's why results can vary a lot between players following the same setup. So I'll go beyond just the scarab list right now and show how to make the most out of this strat. For the mapping setup, you're going to want to use the Settler's Kirac craft for 5 chaos to add 2 additional ores to the map, because this is an ore-based strategy. And for the map itself, we want a 16.5 map, ideally one with a high percentage more maps roll. Even 50% is solid, and I used a bunch of that in the testing, but if you can find a 100% more map, that is where it really starts to take off. And this 16.5 should also have at least 6 modifiers on the map, since we are leveraging the Carto Scarab of Escalation, and that gives us returns based on the amount of modifiers on that map. So the perfect map would be a corrupted 8 mod T16.5 with 100% more maps. And I'm going to drop a trade search link in the video description that filters for at least 6 mods and at least 50% more maps, because I do think this is a solid baseline that is going to give you the returns you're expecting. And I'm keeping it slightly loose on purpose so the prices of these maps don't explode, but you can tighten it up if you feel fine paying a premium and you want the absolute best maps. And I do advise buying maps through the filter, because now with asynchronous trade, you probably want to just get a map that works with your strategy without having to craft and re-roll over a bunch of stuff. It's just way simpler here. And for the altars, I personally go blue altars, but either type works. And the priority list here would be map duplication altars, followed by quantity boost altars. And then I don't mind rarity altars because they still help boost the gold gain for the map, which I do value quite highly. If you're running a map such as Mesa, you can take advantage of killing the boss really early on, which will increase the odds of these altars forming because you will no longer get boss altars. And a map like Jungle Valley simply blocks boss altars entirely, which will in turn favor these altars that I'm mentioning. But I wouldn't worry too much about this if it comes at the expense of a worse rolled 16.5, because you really do want to have the more mass multiplier as well as the 6 mods as your first priority. Now, as for side profits here. This strat prints ore and lots of it. I suggest you guys mine those ores into bars and then bulk ship them to Nagakanu. Here you'll get tattoos, stack decks, and sometimes some pretty wild drops. I've even pulled enlightened support from these shipments, and some tattoos are worth a lot, so I would not sleep on this. For reference, I normally send over 1 million in value of refined bars per shipment to Nagakanu. I actually don't even know what the perfectly optimal shipment amount is, but maybe someone in the comments will have some advice here. And a pro tip while mapping: if you see bismuth ore on your map, it buffs the entire rest of the map when clicked. So on layouts such as Mesa, you could run around the center to scout out and grab the bismuth ores early on to get better overall returns. But honestly, I did not do this during testing and my results were still great. So this would be an optional way to make this slightly more efficient at the expense of it being a little bit more annoying. Let's look at the atlas. And for all the visual people out there, select Eater Worlds, select Settlers. You got the double monstrous lineage, escalation, Kalguuran Scarab, guarded riches, Kalguuran Scarab, and we have an 8 mod, corrupted T16.5 with 100% more maps. For any mapping strategy, you're going to want to have all the shaping nodes to really boost the map drops. I don't really value the 2% for connected map because you're dropping just so many maps. This is just one extra map, so I would actually not take any of these that you don't have to take. Instead, we are going for a bunch of map effect wherever we can get it. And these nodes up top are actually really important. You want to grab all of this because the more pack size you have with the Eater altars, the more likely you are going to spawn those altars. And actually those monstrous lineage scarabs, adding all that magic pack size also dramatically improves your odds of getting a lot of altars. You could opt to go for Eldritch Gaze. This will make it significantly harder for your build, but that will obviously make it better. As for the rest, we are speccing into the Kalguuran ore stuff. And just note, Crimson ores do spawn a ton of magic monsters. All of these things do. The Bismuth ore, if you find it early, it gives you a big boost to your loot. And we have Verisium here because it will give us a little bit more chances of getting the Black Knight fight, which can drop that Chase Svalin shield that you saw me drop in the intro. It's a pretty simple tree, and if you wanted to adjust this to farm 8 mod corrupted maps, here's what I would suggest. If you're going for the 8 mod corrupted, you're probably wanting a specific layout because you're going to be using those. So first of all, you're going to grab Singular Focus. And you're going to want to favorite, for example, probably whatever you want. I have Defiled Cathedral here. You're going to want everything Defiled Cathedral and then one node connected to Defiled Cathedral. Because the way map drops work is you do get biased towards connected maps. And with Singular Focus, you don't even drop a map unless it is in your favorites. So you are getting so many of these connected maps, might as well just force them all to be race course. If you just even have one priority, all those connected maps are going to be race course for the most part. And now you're not deleting all these extra maps because you don't really want to be deleting maps for no reason. Singular Focus still deletes the occasional random map, but most of them are either going to be the one you want or just the connected one. And for the default strat, I don't even recommend Singular Focus because I don't care too much about the regular T16s we're dropping. I still favorite Defiled Cathedral myself because I'm going to feed these to my mappers, and if you use Defiled Cathedral, they can drop the Apothecary, which will help us to get a Mage Blood. But I don't want to be just blocking maps, so we are still, as you can see, this is the spread. This much Defiled Cathedral. Race Course, there's a bunch, because I do have one favorited for that, which isn't necessary, and then there's a bunch of random maps as well, which is fine. A brief look at the data I recorded. This goes back 5 days, and I tried a lot of different strategies. I didn't write down every single map, but I was writing down, you know, as we changed up the scarabs, changed up the tree, what I was getting. And then we finalized on the current video towards the end. I was trying Blight. At the beginning, we did try a bunch of Settlers, although I wasn't doing it as efficiently. We tried just a bunch of Cartography Multitude Scarabs. I'm not going to talk about that stuff, but just to look at what we ended up on, you know, an average of around 20 maps. Now, some of these had 50%, some of them had 100% more map modifiers. Obviously, the ones that go pretty crazy were the ones with 100% more maps, and probably also 8 mod. We're dropping over 1 16.5, around 1 T17. This is the trade link I've included in the video description. They can get as cheap as 10C, but I believe these will shoot up quite quickly to 25 plus C as people start using the trade link. And it's just looking for a 6 mod map with, well, here it's 100% more map modifier, and I'm probably going to post this for 50% because it's just going to be, it's going to be too expensive if everybody's looking for 100% only. So here, I mean, these go down to even 7 Chaos Orbs. So yeah, you don't have to spend too much on this strat, but if you want the crazy rewards, you are going to be spending a little bit more on the maps, and that's just how it is. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out with the algorithm, and I should be blasting live on twitch.tv later today, so I'll see you guys there. Peace.